Hello everybody, my name is Elenator and welcome back to Ultimate Minecraft Polyworld episode 408. We're gonna keep working on this. Probably start working on the tunnel. I can't remember exactly how far forward I have to go. In fact, here, why don't I figure it out? Like maybe I'll even add an extra block based on wherever the last piston is. So the last piston is here. At a 621, I'll probably go to 622, maybe even 623. That's F4, I don't need that. I pop anything up? Nope, what F6 does. I still have my clock from walking through the Farlands. Nope, Inf Def Plus. Alrighty, so we need... What did I say, 621? I don't know how much of this space I'll need, but if I start seeing dirt, then I know I'm getting a little too close to the surface. I think I'll be fine though. Hopefully. I also wanted to make sure I have much more space than I needed. Oh, there's some dirt there. I don't know if any of that's water, but we're going to try to make sure it doesn't come down on us. Yawn. It has not been a long morning. However, I'm working more on my triangle game. I made such good progress yesterday on one of the music tracks. Alright, 623, we made it. So, if I go up, question is how high up can I go until I see the brick? We are way down here. I think I went too far. Oops. That's okay, I guess. That's safe to dig up. I don't know, but if that one's there, where's the other? You know, I don't know where the other piston's supposed to be. Hold on, we're gonna carve this up to maybe here. Let's just open this up a little bit. Anyways, I was making more progress yesterday on Triangle Game Music, and I finished the 7th. I had to think about that. I finished the 7th story track, and now I've started the 8th this morning. And then I realized, you know, I could use some more instrument types. I was going through all the sounds that I exported. I should say all the instrument notes I exported, and I didn't have a cymbal crash anywhere, and I wanted to use it. So therefore, I had to export more sound clips. Howdy, Ian, welcome back. Yeah, I think I dug this tunnel way too far down. I didn't anticipate just how much space I would need. Alright, so let's think. That's there. How much space is between these? Is it this one? No. Is it that one? Okay, so there's 3 blocks. 3 blocks between. So I have all the space down here to run as much redstone as I need. Hold on, let me just fill that in real fast. In fact, yeah, if I just fill this in, how about I take advantage of the space between these two? Do you play enough Modern to take advantage of the gas changes? I've realized that's not actually the place. Hold up. I think I'm gonna open up these tunnels real fast. So that's there. It's 3 blocks, but the 3rd block is right here. So we're gonna have the piston between these 2 blocks here. I don't know if it's gonna be on the front or the back, but it's gonna be on one of these. So let me just fill all this in real fast. Thinking. So optimally, this does not need to be here. No, that's not entirely true. They probably should remain there because wherever I have the piston, I'll need to make sure it's solid on the sides. So let me just do the same thing over here. Oop. Say no to you real fast. I'll probably leave all of these open for now, then deal with them later. But I think now all the smooth stone has been taken care of. Let me also turn this down on my end. Okay, so I have the space I need, and I know where the pistons need to go. Let me set that down real fast. So the question is, how to run 4 distinct wires way over there. We're probably going to use cobblestone, high contrast. You know what? No, yeah, I'll keep this up. I don't want it wherever the redstone's going to be. So cobblestone is going to be the blocks. And the question is, do I run it in front or behind? Because it does not matter. I guess if I really wanted, I could just have 4 wires and then stack them on top of each other. Decisions. 1986 holds no significance to me that I know of. I'm also very not at all committing to memory, family stuff. What I probably could do, since I'm so far down, is just run each wire separately. So if I had 1 wire, where's all my redstone? I don't have any of my redstone. Whoops, I left it all behind. Alright, we're gonna have to go back for that. And I'll also need a return with 6 lamps. 6 lamps and I think 6 glowstone, but I'll take 8. 6 lamps, a glowstone. Before I forget. So much running. But at this point, since it's faster than minecarts, I might as well. Did I leave anything in the furnace? I feel like I had glass cooking up yesterday, but I can't remember if I took out the glass that was in there or not. I'll need to verify. Sun's going down, maybe before we head back. I guess I did finish it. Coolio. The glowstone is because I forgot to place in... whatchamacallit? I forgot to place the glowstone over at the fire escape. And so I wanted to get to that now before I forget yet another time. Howdy, Koski, welcome back. Alright, what can I put away? I could probably put away the stone. We still have a bunch of it in the shulker box. Could also put away dirt, since I don't plan on utilizing that very much. The iron, I guess I'll keep the zombie flesh for now. Hopefully I don't need it. Alright, so we're gonna try our button technique using one button to increase, one button to decrease. And I'll probably just go based on that system. But if I fail, we're gonna have a bunch of levers anyway. I don't know how many I'll need, but I'll just take 4 to begin with. Oh, you know what? I'm also gonna need individual levers to send out the signals whenever we get to the power station. Don't know if I'll be working on that now. Back here, I'll just take a whole stack. Hopefully, I could finish the hydro plant power control first, but we'll see. Oh wait, I came back for the redstone. Here, let me steal. Did my keyboard die? At least I'm in a safe area. Can't remember the last time I changed my keyboard batteries, so we're gonna hope that's not the issue, because that means I'd have to go get batteries. Alright, step 2 is turning it off and turning it back on again. Alright, well, start it up this time. Alright, so I'm looking for cobblestone shulker box. Is where we're gonna dump the redstone stuff, since I don't have a dedicated redstone box. How much do we have? Hopefully this is enough to start out with. I have doubts though. We're gonna take all of that. We're also gonna take a bunch of torches. And an even more amount of repeaters. Alright, now I think we're set. That's not true, I forgot the lamps. Let me turn this down on my end even more. Before we head back, we'll definitely sleep. Zelamoon signifies, hey, you should reset the weather timer. Oh, well, I only have 6 of these left. I'll need to make more. I'll make those later when I get the lights in place for the feedback system. And you know what I also forgot? I'm gonna grab 2 signs because I'm pretty sure I forgot to label the power input and the light switch. I used 2 signs on something, but I don't think it was that. So let's go take care of this real quickly. Seeing what I'm seeing? I'm seeing slime balls I'm about to need to pick up. Go, Golem, go. I wonder if he's having difficulty crossing over the rails, so it's messing with his pathfinding. I wonder if I could just push him back on the good side. In a dunk. Why should I put the rails 1 block underground? Are you saying 1 block below the surface? So the golems can walk over the gap. That's not gonna look good though. Plus I'd have to reconfigure stuff like slopes. But if the golems can walk over the gap, won't other things walk over the gap as well? regular zombies and skelly bums. Alright, so now here's what I'm looking for. I guess I could have grabbed one more for that, but anyways, this is the light switch. I could say just light control, make it more fancy. And then this one will be power input. Alright, with that taken care of, let's go light up the fire escape. If you're expecting me to use Unicode on signs, I'm not getting into that. Good thing I brought 8 and not 6. There we go. Alright, fire escape is now taken care of. Cool. The little things that I forgot to do, but have now taken care of. So, we can go back to work. I've been able to merge items again in a crafting grid since 1.14.3 pre-3, I think. I've already taken care of all of that, for the time being at least. Alright, now I can set this down as well. This will provide plenty of storage space for whatever I keep digging. So what I'll need to do is figure out how exactly I want to organize this. And since all of this is indeed rather large, I think I'm going to dig up one more layer real fast. Wonder if I should be using cobblestone. Decisions. At this point, pickaxe durability does not particularly matter. Alright, so that'll give me just a little bit more space. But what I was focusing on, down here, I need to run 4 individual signals to each of these. And I wonder if the optimal way to do that would be something like, oh, you know what? With how much vertical space I have, I can almost just run each signal at a different layer. Hold on, if I can clean up even more space, if I can have even more vertical clearance, I can almost stack them all on top of each other. I don't know yet how I'll handle each of the 4 signals, but it's one step at a time. And so the easy part is getting the 4 outputs. That way I just have to figure out the input in whatever fashion I want. I'll open that up later. Alright, so as I really could have, you know what, I think I'll put the pistons on the back side. That way I can use more of the front side space. Plus it'll also give additional depth to the dam itself. Oh, hold up. Can't access from this. Oopsies. I didn't mean to jump off. So if I put the pistons on the back, that means set that there. That is too low. Piston goes there because if the water's flowing through here, then the piston needs to come up top, which means, oops. Let me grab my smooth stone, and then I'll probably start filling in the tunnels, now that I know where I'm going to put the pistons. I'll keep working from down below. I really should do something with this wall, but I don't know yet what I'll do with it. So with that there, now I can just place this down. Problem is, I don't know if that's going to... Oh, it does place upward. Oops. There we go. So that way, anyone looking through here, the water's got to be slightly lower compared to if the... Well, I guess it would be the same anyway, because we're going to have a source block in between the back of each of these. So I guess the water flow distance would have been the same either way. Well, I guess I could have put the water one block inward as opposed to the very last one. And you know what? We're going to do this real fast here. Because this is a very big noticeable chunk border. And I also cannot jump up 2 blocks. So, I'm going to flatten that real fast. What I'll probably end up doing is filling this in. In fact, if I have the dirt, why don't I just start filling it in now? Let's do some compulsive terrain smoothing, shall we? Isn't it nice when chunk borders are close enough that it doesn't take much effort to bring them together? The more time I spend out at these different areas, the more time I'm going to spend cleaning up the chunk borders. Since I think it's about time I start getting the world a little nicer. Because all these classic chunks are so messy. The end of worlds aren't as bad because they're mostly separated. I have 2 islands, 2 sky islands, 2 flat worlds. I only have 1 actually messy endev world, and most of that's already been cleaned up by now. Howdy, howdy. Mashed potatoes are pretty good, I say. Alright, there we go. Still a little weird seeing how flat it is, but it's an improvement. 1 step at a time, I say. Alright, so now what I need is the 4 individual wires. Probably toss that, grab more stone. So I need 4 wires that are not going to run into each other. And if the pistons are way back here, I wonder if I could steal 1 additional block space. I wonder if I could just steal all this real fast. It is kind of nice having the pistons there. Uh-oh, hello. It is kind of nice having the pistons there now because... Oops. This will help show me where the outputs are. We'll just stop there. Alright, so what I'm thinking is, if I had, say... that block there, I would put the torch... Hold up. Well, yeah, I don't have it on me. I would put the torch there, and so then that way this can run down. And so I put, if this wire runs across the floor, I could start that there, and then, boom, this one will be 1 block above. Excuse me, torch, we're gonna move you over. Should probably put more of these down here. In fact, hold on, I thought I was getting used stone for this. Make it look just a little bit nicer. So if that's there, this will go all the way to the floor level. So this will be the lowest point where the signal runs. And then that way this one can go above the wire. think I'll only be able to fit 3 though. Because if this one's here, it can only run up to this point, which means I'd have to utilize... I'd have to go down about 3 or 4 more blocks if I wanted to fit each wire. Decisions. Shouldn't be too bad, I'd say. So in fact, why don't I just get to that? I'll go 4 blocks. We're probably going to end up moving this whole thing down by 1. Do I want to do that now? Let's see, can I get up here? Yes, I can. Alright, cool. You know what? I don't even need to put the torch there. I could just put the torch here, and it would power the piston. Alright, well, anyway, one step at a time. So this wire is not going to be this high up. With this one being way down here. You know what I could do? I could have it multi-tiered. Excuse me, Cole. Thank you. Compulsive trunk smoothing is still compulsive terrain smoothing. I am indeed 4 minutes late to answering that. I forgot there's this cave here. Maybe the cave was a sign. But yeah, at this point, it's kind of looking like we're going to have multiple areas here. But I really don't need this much space in the back. So if I only started this around here, and then just carve this up. Oop, leave that there. I need the floor. Oops, I didn't need the cobblestone, but that's okay. I'll take it anyways. At some point, I'll be needing it. So with this wire running way down here, this wire is able to run much lower now. Oops. Double oops. This wire can now run up to there, I believe. Nope, we can go down 1 more. Alright, well, I'll work on that later. I need to get this first one first. I do not plan on smoothing out the entirety of the chunks by the time part 5 rolls around. I can't see myself working that far into it. Drop some more torches, we can always use more light. That's a buzz, is that important? Probably not. Nope. Alright, so let me grab the redstone, because I need to make sure that this works to begin with. Oh, do I have the bed? Nope, where's my sleeping bag? Hopefully I left it around here. I don't know where the sleeping bag is. Oh, found it. I can assure you, with how little there is left of part 4, the entire classic chunks will not be smoothed out. We're gonna move the bed over here to a more accessible area. Alright, so with the redstone, I don't know how far I'm going to need to run it, but we'll start out here with what I do know. Alright, so this first wire can fit all the way down here. But at some point, we're going to end up needing the torch. So I guess probably to make sure that the power doesn't cause problems with there, I think I'll put the torch next to, or I should say put the torch underneath the piston. I don't plan on doing anything else in the Skylands area. For the time being, at least. I won't say never in the future, since I don't know what the future holds. And so here's where the difficulty comes in. Where do I put the repeaters? So I don't know yet how we're going to deal with all of this, plus all of that. What I really could do is drop this down another, maybe 4 blocks or so. That'll bring it even closer. Yeah, at some point, all this space should start being utilized by the redstone. But what I might end up doing is putting 1 repeater here. In fact, if I put the first repeater... let's start bringing this down real fast. I wonder if I put it too far down. That's okay. Famous last words. So then if this wire runs across there, this one's going to be somewhere around here. I should put this last wire around there. Maybe I did go a little too far, and I only needed to drop it maybe 2 blocks. That's okay. Whatever works, works. Alright, so let me bring down all of this. Let me just fill this in now. And just like that, it's like there was never a cave there to begin with. So then this stone is 1 block above, which means sorry to that, you too low. So 1, 2, 3. And then this right here is 4. What is the flotator? I did not put down... Oh wait, hold on, that's okay. I can still reach up here. Good job, me of the past, making this 3 blocks tall. Alright, we're gonna hope that's all connected. So this one's good, this one's good. So yeah, if I do the first one here, to this day, I have seen 0 dedicated content to the potato April Fool's versions. I also have seen very little of what this year comprised of as well. Alright, so it looks like the repeaters won't be in terrible positions. Probably gonna have to have a second short one up there though. Does that reach? Oh, surprisingly that one reached. I was not expecting it to. So then that one just needs to go a little farther. There we go. And so then this one, I'm probably gonna need 2. I don't think it's gonna make it all the way up. Oh, it surprisingly does. What level is this? 13. I could have gone just a couple more. Alright, cool. So now all the pistons are powered. Should say all the pistons are capable of receiving power. I'll need to invert the signal because, well, no, I don't need to invert it yet. I'll figure out how I'm going to do it later. I could probably assume the flying machines that I've seen before. People made their own utilizing this. I'll light that up. All of these. Probably get rid of you if I move this one over. Alright, so now I'll need to start working on all of up here. So one button to increase power, one button to decrease power. Which means I'm also going to need to have each signal go directly to one redstone lamp, I should say, for each power level. Alright, one thing at a time. Let me toss all that. Howdy, Minty. Your favorite YouTuber is indeed streaming. Let's toss the lamps real fast. I'll light these up later. I need to make sure I can generate the power before I start utilizing it. Those might even be controlled in here depending on how much space I have. But yeah, all of this is going to have to go. This is going to be rather challenging because I like horizontal redstone. Vertical redstone is more challenging, it feels like. But I want to at least open up all this space first. What I might even end up doing is once I get down to the lowest level, okay, maybe not the lowest, not this one. Once I get down here, what I'll probably end up doing is expanding outward another few blocks on each side. But before we get to all of that, let's first start digging this up. Move all that over. I am not at all surprised YouTube would not be a big fan of one such keyword. I wonder if this staircase is going to have to move if I end up expanding in each of the directions. How far forward can I go before I hit the chunk border? So with this wall here... Oh, I can only go forward 2 blocks. Maybe I'll use that to my advantage if I really wanted. Like, what if I made this a multi-tiered building? And so I expanded the front. And so that would be sort of like the maintenance entrance, whereas going up top, it would be the proper entrance. Maybe I will focus on that. I'll need to see what level it is. Let's just finish up this one and then I'll check what Y level it's at and go from there. Howdy, howdy. Welcome back to the stream. So far, Minecraft has yet to have any tall structures, unless if you count the Woodland Mansion, although that's basically one big standard building that could be constructed from the ground up because of how much surface area it would take up if you're looking at it top down. There's a cave in here. Alright, that's enough cave exploration for me. You know, the end cities do count. Here's a question though, have ghasts been to the end in Minecraft's history? Oh, sun's going down. Alright, so I'm standing here on 33, so if I could get this to around 33, that will be the initial floor level. Pillager Outpost is rather tall. It feels condensed though. Oh, this was 33. I already passed it. Oops. So I guess that means if I really wanted, I could use the space underneath. So if I'm standing on 33, 30 would be beneath the grass floor, I think. I guess that's just one block more. Turns out I was closer to my target than I thought I was. Howdy, potato, welcome back. Oops, I realize if I do go any lower than this, I will have to do something with the staircase that's not straight down. Should say 90 degrees down. Not important. See you later, water. We'll see if we do anything with the cave later, but for now it's just going to sit there. I don't need that space. So everything is right. Aha, there it is. That is indeed the chunk border. Why were you killing skelly bums to get coal? I feel like you told me about whatever challenges you were currently facing. Whatever challenge you were currently taking on, and I can't remember the details of it. Oh, no way. Is that really the chunk border right there? That is the chunk border. For some reason, I was thinking I was one block away from the border. Whoopsies. We encounter floating blocks rather quickly in the movie upon first running into the tree. Alright, so if I'm correct, yeah, that's grass. Cool, so I know where I can be. Alright, let me just expand this a little bit. Probably not too far. Oh, natural generation. I'd have to look at some of the terrain shots and see if there's any little floating islands in the distance. Uh-oh, that's gravel. Excuse me, no gravel. I still haven't rewatched it. I'm a little sad, but I don't know when I'll get the opportunity to do so. Hopefully soon. Alright, so I can expand 4 blocks on this one layer. But I will need... Whoop! I keep falling down there. I need to put up fall prevention. OSHA would not approve. Alright, so if that one's there, this is the farthest wall, which means I have 3 blocks I could use for space. Maybe I'll only go this way because this is where the whatchamacallit is, where I'm gonna have to send the outputs. Is this enough space for me? X to doubt. Oh wait, hold on, I need that there. I need that there for now at least. I'm thinking of flipping the door, moving this to the other side. Put that there instead. And the reason is, I want to flip the staircase because we're going to dig up on the other side. I want to expand that way, and so if I keep going down, this will give me more room for the stairs. There we go, because I want this to go down another couple blocks or so. So then that just means we're gonna go probably just one more layer. Huzzah! Alright, well I have the space now at least. You see that? I see a full inventory. Steve in Minecraft kind of is, if you consider how powerful, how strong, and various other factors of Steve. Yet he could still only hold his breath for 10 seconds. We're gonna take everything that's not stone and put proper stone, since this is a stone chest, or stone shulker box. Do-do-do-do. Alright, close enough. That is organized to the best of my ability for now. Back to work. Nope, hold up. Don't need the coal. Back to work. We found the Ark of the Covenant at 3 a.m. in the Minecraft movie. In the movie 2. No idea what it is you're currently referring to. Who knows whatever's coming up next for the sequel. I wonder if there will be... I should say, I think I've said before, I wonder if they already have general ideas for what they would want the sequel story to be. Your school is watching a Minecraft movie? The last time I saw a movie for a field trip, I want to say was the second Hobbit movie. And that's because the third one came out when I was already in high school, and we only watched movies as field trips in middle school. Maybe elementary, but I can't seem to remember. We saw the first two Hobbit movies, Hugo and the Lorax. I can't remember any other movie we saw. Chances are the theater's probably going to have a bunch of signs put up already. There's no guarantee that can stop the other people, but you'll find out when you get there. Trampoline park sounds pretty fun. I'll dig that grass up, but I'll do it later because we're going to keep working on this first. Sky Zone. Was Sky Zone indoor trampoline? I remember 2014 and 15. Five Nights at Freddy's really took off. I feel like I've been to a Sky Zone or equivalent before, but I don't think it was for a field trip. I remember one time going to indoor trampoline place. No, one thing I did do for a field trip though, it's not the same, but it reminded me. It was 10th grade, 10th or 11th grade. Hello, lava. How's it going? 10th or 11th grade, I went indoor skydiving. It was for physics class. Well, seeing as Five Nights at Freddy's first showed up the summer of 2014, be any point from then. I don't remember how much global hype there was initially that first year. I should say till the end of the first year, but seeing as the second game came out by November, might have at least heard of it. Even though 2015 was when popularity was really going up. Alright, so how to deal with the lava. Howdy Henry, welcome back. How far down did I want to go again? I want to see it was this level, going down to 27. So if I could just fill in stone at 27, I'll be fine. But first, time to catch some Z's, reset the weather timer. It's kind of funny that for such a small building, this is going to be on the surface. Hello, I see you over there. For such a small building, this is on the surface. You take the stairs and go down and you're like, this is a lot more open. Alright, what'd I say, 27? This is 28, so I need to be here. So the first level of the lava is going to be covered. I do not know what Graceland is. Is that a city? Sounds like a city. My inventory is already filling up. That's not cool. Did I push this back where I needed to? Yep, so this is indeed the back wall. So what I'll probably do is just start filling this in. Lava lake? I don't know what you're talking about. There was a seed. I don't know if it was like popular back then, but there was definitely a Pocket Edition seed I liked, where it had a village really close to spawn with a stronghold underneath it. Elvis Presley's estate. I would not have known that. Are there blocks here? Hold up. What am I running into? Am I going crazy? It just feels like I'm getting stuck on something that I can't see, but it's not completely stuck. I don't know what's going on. I thought all that was taken care of. No internal server problems, so I don't know what the dealio is. I'm gonna ignore that for now. Bunch of vegetables. It's like pasta. Interesting. When you say method for mining diamonds, the most direct path when I don't feel like caving is mine right around Y12 or 11. Kind of depends on whatever math I use to calculate the distance. There we go, that feels better. Alright, now we can go back to digging. But while we're at it, let me just say bye-bye. No more water. I wonder if I should put more torches down. I'm starting to realize it's kind of dark over here. Oh wait, hold on, isn't this 27? I do have to go down one more after this. Whoops, for some reason I was thinking this was the last layer. Most of the versions I play, I should say most of the versions I'm used to mining diamonds on, where there's difficulty, there's no coordinate access. I don't have any easy way to find where the chunk borders are. I can kind of tell direction though based on the sun, and sun rising in the north, setting in the south. I would not go strip mining for an hour. That doesn't sound like a fun hour to me. 15 to 20 minutes, or however many pickaxes until my inventory's full. And then I think to myself, I'm done. $500 Robux gift card? What a present that is. This past Christmas, we had Friendsmas or whatever was going on. No, that's not true. It wasn't Friendsmas. It was just me getting up somewhere around that time. But anyways, there was the couple of folks were gifted V-Bucks. I want to say it was like 100 V-Bucks for Fortnite, and I think to myself, how much of a joke gift is that? Turns out it was about half joke gift, half serious. I don't know how people can strip mine for long periods of time either. I usually go until the inventory is full because by that point I'm full of cobblestone, dirt and stuff, and so it's time to go building with all that cobblestone. I know it's a different holiday. I was referring to the similar stories. V-Bucks versus Robux. This is 27? Yep, we're all done. What are we doing? Just mining? I'm not mining. I'm clearing out space for the redstone. I can understand it does look like mining though. I'm not mining to go mining. I'm mining because I need all this area. And then I'm gonna be building it back up when I put all the redstone wires in. Alright, so let me just place down a few torches, that way I don't have to worry when nighttime approaches. There we go. Yeah, now we have this big ol' open space down here, which is rather comedic compared to how little of a building we have on top. Okay, so what I have to do is do some redstone magic to have a 4-tier system. And we're going to be using all this stone here. Moving a build by 1 block. I couldn't do that unless it was something I can get done in 15 minutes or less. There comes a point where if I build something, even if there's a problem, I'll just have to live with it if the amount of time I spend correcting it is going to be the same amount of time it would take to build it all the first time. If it's not a quick fix, I'll just deal with it. Nom 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 nom. Alright, toss that stone. Hey, perfect. I got perfect stack. 90 minutes. 90 minutes would be too much for me. Probably. It'd have to be a massive problem. Alright, so the question is, where do I put the buttons? Let me grab some cobblestone, and we'll go from here. now I know what I'm doing. I need more cobblestone. A cage in the nether ever so slightly too small. This is when you hear about the phrase, measure twice, cut once. In this case, measure twice, build once. Math will always... I should say, there's always the possibility of making the same mistake twice in your measurements. Alright, there we go. So what I'm gonna try to do is have one button here. Do I make them vertical? I think that's gonna be too difficult. I'll just have horizontal buttons. In fact, it would feel better with power level up, and then over here, power level down. Alright, let me catch some Z's though. My bed. Built it when 1.7 came out. Well, it's only been, you know, casual 12 years. Where did I put my bed? I moved it somewhere I wouldn't lose it, and then I don't know where it is. Alright, that's it. The bed's going inside. Oh, here, let me move that up there. Oh, I need lights. You know, I'm not going to use torches. I cannot use torches on this. I'm going to have to use proper powered lamps. I'll deal with that later. It's probably going to end up happening is I'll put them in the ceiling. Alright, so I'm thinking first I have to get the wires down here. What I'll probably end up doing, end up swapping these for lamps, or put these as torches for now. That way I can at least get the wires where they need to be. Yeah, when 1.7 first came out, that's still 2013. It's been so long. I wonder if I could steal. Oh no, I've already stolen that. Just kidding. You know, how am I supposed to get up there? Here's what we'll probably start out with. We're gonna build a small platform right here. Probably only these few blocks. Because I realized this might be a little too tall. Alright, so I need... I think it's these two. Hold on, which block is it on? It's on the second cobblestone, which means the solid block has to be on the first cobble. Which makes it there. Did that not fall down? Peekaboo, I need you. You're not old. You're not Paul's age. Alright, I've changed my mind for how I want to do this. I want torches on the back side of these. Oh, is that gonna work? If I use regular buttons, if I send a signal... I can't cheap out on this. I'm gonna have to use regular signals. As old as the universe? Why telling that to women in their 30s? Alright, so here's one signal. And I'm kind of tempted to move it one more over. That way I could just have the signals next to each other. Alright, so let me move this over. And that way, these could be right next to each other. Oh, wait, hold on. Move that there. Alright, I'll just move the button over. That's not a button, that's a lever. It'll be a button eventually. You might just try that out. I want to hear your experience. This is I'd say this is one experiment I'll let other people do. Hold on. Did I not place it correctly? No, I did. It just... There we go. Alright, cool. So now I need something. I need a way to have one of these buttons increase power, and for the other button to decrease, which means I need a total. And I probably will not be able to do this any other time. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, do I keep clipping invisible blocks or something? Something's happening, and I just feel a minor stutter in my movement. And I don't know if it's, you know, my keyboard running out of power again, or if it's something else. Importantly. Alright, so. Time to think. Time to think about how I want to do this. Am I just really going to need a massive amount of AND gates? If this is on, do this. If this is on, do that. If this is on, do that. And so in the end, I'm going to have to separate that into 5 different signals. Do-do-ba-doop. I'll need to visualize how exactly this is going to have to be done. I might start out with initial experimentation, then what this will do is provide me a visual basis for how to get this done initially. So much easier to make AND gates, not with redstone. Not AND gates, so much easier to make just overall logic gates. Do-do-ba-doop. Alright, start now with the basic here. What time are we at? 1:08. Let's see how far I get in the next 50 minutes, because I feel like I'm gonna have struggles. Obstruction feature has been temporarily adjusted to match preferred observations within the matrix. That's what you're agreeing with? Interesting. So the question then is, it feels like every time I do this, I have to relearn redstone. We're gonna see how much I struggle. Because I can power that every single time. It's not gonna do anything. But if I power this one, so one signal to turn on, one signal to turn off. What he said, I agree, how politicians talk. Insert laugh at satire here. Is it satire if it's true, though? So what I'm gonna need is essentially like 4 of these. Yeah, I keep getting little stutters, and I don't know if that's me or not. You're not laughing, you're learning. You know, I think it is indeed the keyboard. It's happening more. Oh, and you just have to last another 50 minutes. Maybe I'll do this in layers. Maybe that's how I'll figure this out. So we're going to start with, I'll just arbitrarily pick this location. No, we're going to make this slightly larger. That's not slightly, that's kind of noticeably larger. Here, hold on, let me move this over one. Oops. Alright, so we're going to need multiple of these. So this is going to determine whether or not I send the output over here to each of these wires. And so if that needs to be adjusted at all, that'll be fine since I have plenty of bus distance to take care of that. So the question then is, maybe I just need to chain these all together. Like, what do I determine as the on state? When it's on, where do I get the signal from? What if I chose like that corner? Piston switch. OTT. Out of time. Oh wait, that's OOT. 2 pistons, redstone blocks for 1 input, and so on. Can I stick to old school for now? How things used to work before the existence of redstone blocks? Redstone blocks made me mad in the past because they always powered pistons when they weren't supposed to. I don't care if I'm doing this the hard way. Alrighty, so my current plan is, if I take this one in particular, I should say if that one torch signifies whether or not the statement's going to be on or off. So I'm currently visualizing, I have multiple of these. I do remember what you're referring to. I had a flashback in my mind. The pistons going back and forth. I'll do this the hard way for now. And then at a later point, realize, maybe I should go easier. At this point, I'm kind of designing the whole system backward. So if I have that one there, we're going to have probably 2 block gap between. So my current plan is having multiple of these. I don't know if they need to be so large. I just want to take advantage of the extra space for now. So if I have these 2 here, this is where an additional platform comes in because I'm going to have the other 2 above. The reason why there's only going to be 4 in total is because that is the amount of different outputs I'm going to be using. So if this is the ceiling, and if I want 3 blocks, that puts it here. We're just going to build another floor real fast underneath each of these. You know what this kind of reminds me of? I'm trying to get, or I should say I'm getting flashbacks when I tried adding RAM to Internet FTW's Redstone CPU way back in Alpha 1.1. What a time that was. Can't remember how far I got. Pretty sure it only had something like 16 bits I made. You're not going to get much done with 16 bits, but at least it's there. And I remember doing a similar concept back then. Let me just hazoop. Oopsies. Alright, did a torch burn out, or did it finally settle on the position? Cogs would be nice for vertical redstone, but I don't know if we'll ever get an official implementation. Vertical redstone, I feel, would make things very nice, or some way to power a signal up walls, up vertical faces. Alright, so, this is where things get interesting. Because now what I'll do is I'll take the output. In fact, what I'll probably do, instead of having a torch on top, I'll probably put the torch on the back side. And so that way it separates the signal from the torch there. Iron armor wearing pigmen. Can't pigmen still wear armor to this day? Or is it that you just haven't been on there in so long that you haven't seen one recently? Okay, the question is, how do I logically get all this out of here? I think what makes most amount of sense is over here. Let me tear this down real fast because what I'm thinking of doing is running these all the way. Oops, sorry, torch. If I did, yeah, if I ran this one over here, one step at a time, I'll put the repeater later. So then this one just comes from there. Oh wait, that might not work because this one still has to transfer as well. So what I could do, since this one is going to be for the farthest distance, I'll probably just start by going up. Having worn iron armor since then, I thought they could still spawn naturally with armor. Or are you saying pigmen only spawn with gold armor? That means you stole your stuff that long ago, and you never got it back. In fact, while I'm here, let me just take care of this real fast. Does that reach? Nope. Alright, cool. Was there ever a time where pigmen naturally spawned with gold armor? For some reason I feel like that was a thing, but I cannot verify. Reach. I cannot halo reach that. Does that make it? I don't think so. Well, even if it does, I'll still have to redo the... Oh, you know what? Hold on. Here's what I can do. Put that block there. Get rid of... Oh, wait, no, hold on. Put that block there. Now, this will be fine. I'll just beep beep. Regular non-zombified piglins spawn with gold armor. Interesting. That's probably what I was thinking of then. Alright, does this signal make it? I'm thinking it's about to. I just have to make sure that the wire's up there. Alright, well, there we go. We have the back end set up, kind of. So if I were to add one, which block is the addition? I should say which block makes go up. Because what I could do is have one button that turns everything on, and then one button that turns everything off, but that's not what I want. I'll have to separate. That's where the math comes in. Well, it's not really math, it's logic, but close enough. So what I'll need, we're going to keep those as levers for now. Let me go back down to my initial testing period. So everything's currently on. Everything's in the on state, which means I have to send the signal to this one. I have to power this wire, or particularly this block, to set it on, which means I have to power this block to turn off. Alright, let me get these separate wires going real fast. If I can figure out how to condense, I'll do that later. But step one is to get the system going first. Because I'll need to only send the signal. Maybe this is going to be easier than I thought. Because if I just verify the output, if I take the output and the input, sorry, if I take the previous cell's output and the input, that will tell me whether or not any particular cell should be turned on or off. I get it now, which means I will need to take all 4 outputs and them with each of the inputs and the outputs. So that basically comes down to I'm going to need 4 different AND gates for each wire. Okay. I have the at least plan in place. First, let me just run a basic wire for each of these. So hold on, let me just grab, so if this one's up, I should say if that one's increased power. Right is increased power, left is decrease. Okay, I understand now. So I'll probably end up getting rid of most of this platform. Just leave it open for now. Oh wait, you know what, hold on. I need these blocks, but not the rest of it. You can see now why I opened up so much space, because I want to make sure I can clearly see all this is. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey is useful when you're applying a rotational force upon something. Alright, so I need this signal to drop down to here. And also need to make sure it properly connects there. Does that reach? Yes, it does. Signal's on. So then what I need is this signal to drop down here without interfering with the previous wires. To do that, I could just have one additional block over it. Oops. So to do that, I could just place that there. Alright, before I connect that one, we're going to turn both of these off. Oh, in fact, here, I'll probably get rid of these. I'll add repeaters and stuff later. Let me just swap those buttons real fast. I don't have a way to check the signal, though. Right now, it is currently on, though. I believe everything should be in the on position. Let's just see, is that going to reach? I don't know if this redstone is going to reach. Hold on, let me count. 15. 3, that's a level 3. Okay, that's fine. So right now, everything is currently on. So if I press the decrease power button, click, what that does, that torch is off, signal's now off, particularly for... Let's go find out. In fact, here, let's do the proper experimentation. Let me just turn that on real quickly here. And this is where we head on over to the actual end product. So as of right now, everything is open. And the reason why everything is currently open, I think I'm going to have to swap the signal. It just occurred to me, if I increase power, everything's supposed to open. That's okay, I'll figure that out later. I'll swap the output when I need to. I need to get the concept working first before I get the correct states. So, if I head on back in here and I say decrease power. Oh, you don't know. The signal is correct because I want the door to be closed. I want the piston up when decreasing power. So if I hit the decrease power button, which one is it? There we go, it's this one. So by decreasing the power, less water's coming through, less energy is being created. Ta-da, there we go. Got the concept working on a scale of 1 to 1. As of right now, this does not take into account the current power scale. Alright, well, we're getting there. We're making progress, that's the important part. So let me press the increase power button. And if all goes according to plan, after I get back there, if all goes according to plan, it is now open again. Hooray! Everything functions as intended. If only it were that simple, though. Do I have dirt? This is bothering me, but I'll let it slide for now. Alright, so I have this taken into account. So now I only want this to send power here if the previous one has power. So here's where the big questions come into play. Where do I put all these AND gates? Because right now, it's looking like I'm going to have to squeeze them in here. I've got 3 block space there and another block space here. Thankfully, I only have to put 3 sets because... You don't know, I will still need 4. I'll just need to make sure that the 4th one is always blank because there is no 5th. And so I want to go down to 0. I want 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. No power, and then levels 1 through 4. So, to do that, I'm thinking. What's probably going to end up happening is I'll have to send... No, I will not send the signal to each of these. I have to send each of these signals to an AND gate that is positioned somewhere. So, with all this vertical space, I think I am indeed going back to that secondary platform by utilizing, maybe not 2 blocks, but I think, or sorry, maybe not 3 blocks, but maybe just 2. See if I could fit it up here. If I can fit at least 2 AND gates up here, then that should be able to be I should say that will take care of the top 2 cells. Since at this point, there really are memory cells, at least in how they're used. I probably am going to end up shrinking them down, but I'll deal with that later. When I need space, I will optimize for space. Not a good way to go about it, but oh well. I want it all laid out first, so that way I can make sure the concept functions as intended before I try to condense. I do the same thing with game optimization. I need to make sure that the concept works, and then I can figure out how to make it better as part of the optimization process. Alright, so we're going to use this platform up here real fast. So I'm probably... Maybe I should just run the signal to the left. No, because I still have other space back here. I'm going to need to make sure that this space stays open. Alright, so... We'll just say... So I could probably fit the first one here. Oopsies. We'll see if I can at least. I don't know if I'm gonna go left to right or right to left, but we'll see. So I have the signal being sent to this one, but I'm also gonna have to send the signal way over here. Oh, that means I'm gonna need 4, not 2. Maybe what I'll do is I'll have it be positive, negative, positive, and then I'll put negative, I don't know, back here maybe. We'll see. I can always dig forward this way if I really need to, but one step at a time. I want to use the space I have first. So now, let me get rid of that block. I don't think I should have gotten rid of that block. Let me put it back real fast. Because what I'm going to do is I'll put a block underneath it, which I think was this one. Yes, so what I wanted was, I wanted the signal here. Let me just get rid of that real quickly. Who keeps buzzing me? Is this important? Doo-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Nope. Alright, so there's the first one, but I'll also need to send this to the other one. We're going to leave this wire alone for now. So if I keep that one there, I'll need to make sure that there's enough of a gap as to not interfere. Where is this wire in relation to the one below? Because this wire's 2 blocks from the wall. This one is 1 block over, which means the wire needs to go there. I want to open this up real fast. So with this one being 1 block over, I'll do the same thing on this side. Oh, that means I'm going to have access all of that. Can I expand that way? I can. Alright, cool. So what we're going to do, we're going to expand this all the way over. Because I need the space. So much for not expanding the space until I need it. Well, this is a scalability thing. As long as I know where the back wall is as of now, I just have to go up to that point. And thankfully, I don't have to dig up that particular layer of stone. Alright, so then I said I was going to dig up 2 blocks here. Because I need to put down the other one. So the wire is there. It is on 580. Which means this needs to be the one next to it. So the AND gate goes here. And then I can dig up everything underneath it. I also see night time's approaching, so let me just start leaving some torches around here. It's kind of funny that for a big old redstone system, I'm using torches to light it up. Don't know how much I necessarily want bad guys spawning down here, though. I think it's time to catch some Z's. Howdy, random car guy. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, that's still full of stone. Let me toss some of this real fast. Alright, I think we're getting there. It's gonna be a lot of... I need to make sure there's enough space to move the signals around. That currently appears to be that it'll be the big problem. But that's okay. Folks, plenty of folks in the past have said I have a deep voice. Let me grab a lever, because I'm realizing I need to make sure that these signals go as far as they need to. So what I think I'll do, since I know exactly what works, what I think I'll do is I'll just disconnect. Where do I disconnect from? I guess I could disconnect this signal. Because I know for certain that this wire is not going to make it to the end. So I don't know how I'll deal with this space right here, but I need to make sure. Decisions. I don't yet know how I'll get that one in place, but that's okay. I'll figure that out later. I need to get that signal over to here. Doop. Oh, you know what I might be able to do? If I planned from it at the beginning. I can cover that, and then just run this right over. Of course, that just means I'll still need a way to make sure that this remains powered without connecting to this. And this is where I need to put that one. I could always move this over, and I could also make the AND gates wider if I need to. I guess I don't even need to power that one, because if I were to, say, put that dust there, let me get rid of this. If I were to put this dust here, I just have to power it from down there. Let me see, does that turn on? Yep, just making sure. Trying to optimize the vertical space that I ended up doing. That turns on, yep. Okay, so this one, I'll probably do the same thing. Make sure that it gets powered from over here. I'm gonna have to move that down. Up, down, up, down. If I was using Galacticraft and I had a jetpack right now, that'd be beneficial. I think Galacticraft has jetpacks. If not, I'm sure there are plenty of other jetpack mods that exist. Alright, cool. So that signal is now taken care of, which means I can dig up most of this, as this is no longer utilized space. Which means I can also dig up everything over here. Galacticraft does not have jetpacks. There's another mod included in Tech-It Then that does have jetpacks that I remember utilizing alongside Galacticraft. I want to say there was like, what was it, MMP Power Armor? That's one that had jetpack features, but that's not dedicated jetpack. An Elytra is not a jetpack. I can't hover with an Elytra. Elytra requires horizontal movement distance, or else you will drop. It's like stalling a plane, except it's more like stalling a glider. Except Minecraft does not have any error currents. Which one did I remove? That one behind the torch, right? No, I moved the one for this guy. We're gonna hold on to these for now, that way I don't keep... Or you know what? Maybe I should just keep these as is, and then properly set them later. Maybe that is what I'll do. If I keep this redstone here, I'll just temporarily disable the outputs. A skill issue with extra steps. You cannot tell me you can hover in place with an elytra for a desired amount of time. One does not simply float. Unless the internal server died, that's something different. Maybe I should just focus on getting the input out first. Decisions. Because with this here, I almost wonder, do I have enough space, or is this going to have to drop a block? Because I have 3 blocks here until I hit the roof. This one's 4 blocks. Roundabout with flight duration 1, that requires continually spinning. You are changing your direction even if you are not changing your movement. I cannot simply hover like creative mode in one area and facing the same direction. Alright, decisions. Because now I need to get this signal. Whoops. I need to get this signal down there. Depending on wherever I put the next step. Because this one is 3 blocks above there, which means 3 blocks above here would put it 1 block beneath this layer, and I don't know if that's going to be too close to me. I could just try it. So 3 blocks, then the floor. So this is the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then the gate itself is over here. It's not close enough if I need to face the same direction. Otherwise, I'd be going click, 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 click all the way around. There is no efficiency in that. 1, 2, 3. It's these 3, right? Nope. Got it offset. It's these 3. So you're where the questions start coming in. Because I need to make sure that signal there is irrelevant from all of this, which I already feel like we're going to have a problem. So the question is, do I keep going or do I try something else? Because I need this to make sure that it powers way down there. How am I even supposed to get the signal down there to begin with? I've realized I can send this one down kind of. I think what I'll do is I'll have one split off. Howdy, howdy, I'm incapable of reading such a message. So all of these power the left one. So I need to get the signal to the left one and not running anything else. So what I'm thinking of doing is maybe running it forward. What if I had it go across the staircase? That'd be kind of maybe beneficial. If I just had this go... Oh, so close. I guess if I were to steal it, I'd have to steal it from there. If I were to start going down here. Because this staircase does not have to be here. What I could do is expand that and then start using this as a staircase. Or I could just get rid of the staircase altogether, but that would still require some other way of getting up here. So one thing at a time. I wanted one centralized location to bring this wire down. That way I'm not trying to move multiple wires. So with this here, we're going to get rid of that real fast. And also the staircase down below. I wonder. Oh, that almost worked. No, that's not entirely true. This almost would have worked if I utilized a repeater there. But then that would require that dust there. And so for down here, if I wanted to make sure that remains separate, that's where that pulls from. Same thing with on this side. So yeah, I'll just have to move that over one more and hope it does not run into any issues. Famous last words. Oh wait, that could have been moved over like that in the first place. There we go, that does function. Relatively, as of right now. See if it remains that way in the future. OBS also says about 13 minutes left of the day. So with this signal, what I could also do is I'm trying to think if there's a way. Oh, hold on. I could use this one and do something similar. Where if I put the repeater there, I could put that block alongside with. Do it like that, and then on this side, steal that one. This is probably got to be a rather slow machine with the amount of repeaters and torches being utilized, but that's okay. This isn't a video game running on mobile phones. I don't have to optimize it. Oh, Zelamoon has risen. Let's catch some Z's, reset the weather timer. Alright, so I logically have all of these set up to receive the positive input. Here's where it comes down to. What I have to do now is I have to increase the power. I should say I have to pull from the other states. Actually, I could probably get rid of that. That's just bonus since I could walk across here. Probably also going to move that one up. So now I have to read the previous state. The state of the previous cells, probably more accurate way to say that. And then from there, I'll be able to process whether or not I should send the output or not. So let me now start bringing all of these over because that one's connected. This is the power increase, right? Hold up. Yes, just making sure. Oopsies, hold on. Why is this one block over, but that one's not? That one's directly beneath here. That one's also directly beneath here. So this one runs directly down the middle. Is this one not? Are these not in the same area? Hold up. Did I build those cells not on top of each other? Because for these two, those have 3 blocks between. But over here, these do have 3 blocks between. Where did I done goof? Oh, I see. So this one should slide over 1. That's where it comes down to. Alright, let me just redo this real fast. Do. So you're asking me a question about something in another language. I don't have an answer for you. Alright, there we go. Now that's on. There we go. Now this lines up. Because I have the AND gate, and I have the output. I have the positive input and the output. So we're getting there. Now I just have to do the same thing on this side. Where I need to take this one. Does that even line up? Maybe I built this first one wrong. Maybe this one just has to move. Yeah, because now this one's not in the same area. I think I'll just leave it over to the left, though. This one could probably move, though. In fact, it would probably be better if I move this one as well. I'm slightly glad we don't have lava logging, because that would cause a big problem on one of my current builds on here, where I have lava surrounded by a bunch of slabs. That works, right? Yeah, so that's going to take out one of the repeaters on here. I was thinking about that yesterday. I was thinking about that yesterday when I was walking around the area. Let's move that over. Yeah, I'm probably going to end up condensing these cells. I keep saying that, but I'm not going to do it today. We're close, though, because I have the outputs for the bottom two completed. What I have now is I need to work on the outputs for the upper two. So I have to get this signal down to that wire without touching that torch. So to make sure I don't touch that torch, what I have to do is be above the torch. And I might end up needing a repeater on this one. Because otherwise that's not going to be straightforward. Unless if I were to do something like this, but then I do make sure that that block's there. Alright, there we go. So now the output for this one's connected, which means I'm probably going to end up doing the same thing over here. So 1, 2, plus the block. And then just connect. There we go. So all of these are now doing stuff. So here's what I'm going to do real fast. Well, I'm going to try to do it real fast if I had a way to do so. Doop. Not particularly. I really don't have a way to test this. I wanted to test all of these to make sure that they functioned as intended. I think the only way to do that is if I just got rid of all these torches. In fact, here, let me also turn these off. Turn those off, get rid of the second torch. Was it that one? Oh, this one I entered from the other side. Oopsies, I did this one wrong. This one's supposed to be on the right side. I don't yet know how I'll power this one, but I'll figure that out later. Because I just have to put that torch there. And then I cannot interact with that one, so it needs to be one block above. Alright, there we go. So if everything is done correctly, all of these should now be on. We're going to do a quick chest here in the last 4 minutes we have. Alright, so if I'm correct, everything should be off. Nope, everything is currently on. Oh, wait, I know why. It took out the outputs. Let's go fix that real fast, shall we? What will this do? Power pistons. That's what it's going to do. One, two, three, four. It's the dam flow control. One button increases power, one button decreases power. Power for the warehouse, of course. And, well, that's not entirely true. It's going to have to go to the power station first and then the warehouse. The power station will distribute the power. The dam generates the power. So right now, all of these are open. That's exactly what we want. No, that's not true. I have to turn these all off first. Num 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 num. Hold on, let me set all of them to their off state, and then we can verify that the on buttons function. Reset, reset. It's definitely gotten messy in here. Reset, and then reset. Alright, cool. So now everything should be off. Funny joke. Teehee. I was waiting for someone to mention it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Nighttime's approaching. Well, why though? So everything is currently in their off position. And let me head on up. So if I click the button, everything should turn on. Click. Everything's going to turn on simultaneously because I don't currently have a way to measure the value of the previous cells first. Open, 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 and open. Hooray! So now, all 4 of them are functioning as they should up until this point. So I really did come down to I have to work on this backward. How to think about it from the end to the beginning. Alright, let me catch some Z's and then we'll be very close to the end here. And so the next thing I need to do is I need to get the signals from all these previous ones. So whatever the output is, I have to take that output and send it to the next cell. So I've already started some of the redstone for that, sending the signal to some of the next setup. I should say the other half of the AND gates. In fact, let me put these torches back. Because this torch is what's going to be controlled by the cells. So let me just turn all these on. Oh, I need stone, thank you. See if I can head up there. There we go. Alright, so now that that's all taken care of, we will indeed wrap it up for today. And thankfully, I have the entirety of the next 2 hours stream to try to figure this out and get it completed. So, yep, I believe that is indeed all it for the day. Thank you all for watching. Bye.